You're listening to Why Germany podcast, the best place for relocation stories and expert tips, sponsored by Over the Ofek, relocation agency to Germany, with your host, Eden Levine.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Why Germany podcast. My name is Eden Levine, and with me is the lovely Liz. Thank you so much for joining.
Hi, Eden. How are you? I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for the invite.
Yeah, I am very excited for you to know Liz's story because it has a very interesting part to it. So let's jump in. Liz, why Germany?
Well, actually, I think Germany chose me like 10 years ago. It was not on my radar. I was living in the US when I met who today is my husband. So it wasn't actually like my choice.
Aha! Wow. Okay. I am eager to hear how did you get to that point? Take us all the way back as you need so that we would know the whole story.
Yeah, of course. Well, I mean, it was 2012 actually when I was living in Boston, and then I was just traveling the weekend on with my friends, and then I met Alex, who's my husband, in New York, and like la 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 in a hostel. And he's fluent in Spanish, so he was like, hola, blah, blah, blah. And, the magic happened after. But to be honest, I mean, I really wanted to stay in the US, but he was in Germany. So, basically, so why Germany? Love.
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 Wait, so we have to take it all the way back and really to understand the whole thing, because you are from Mexico, actually.
I'm from Mexico, yes.
And how did you end up in the United States?
Well, after college, I just wanted to live a different, like a life somewhere else. I mean, I really wanted to go out. I was 26 by that time. And, the only solution I had in that time, because I couldn't ask my dad to pay me again, like a master's or something, it was just to be an au pair. So I left Mexico 2009 as an au pair. And I think I was just like, I'm this kind of person that sees all the potential on experiences. So I was like, okay, I want to stay here. I want to take the best out of this experience. So I studied, for example, I went to Harvard to take English lessons. I went to some schools, like different schools of photography, because I'm a photographer. So, and then I found an internship so I could stay longer. So that made me stay the whole 4 years in Boston.
In Boston. And why Boston? Because that
family was there. I mean, it was like, destiny. I wanted to go to California because in that time I had an ex-boyfriend in California, but life took me to the other side. Of course, I'm not with that boyfriend anymore. So yeah.
And tell me, so for me, it's always the question: how does the family and the community that you grew up with, and you spent 26 years with, how do they support your? Well, it was not really a relocation time to the United States, but it was kind of like a new adventure somewhere else. Do they support that?
It was really nice. To be honest, I love my family. I still have, I'm still in contact with them. It was a very, very different experience from what I was expecting. I mean, I was still young, 26. They were my family. It was very difficult at the same time because I had suddenly 50 hours a week, 3 kids, a baby, and like a toddler and a 6-year-old girl. So it was very difficult for me. I remember I cried many times. I was, laying on the ground and I was like, what the heck did I do? It was very tough, but it was very nice at the same time because I got to know amazing friends. I think for me, I consider myself very open and very friendly, and I love having friends, and I think that's my Aquarius thing. So I was very lucky to have this group of also au pairs and friends, and I think it's very important to find this group, but also that have your same expectations or your same everything, I really wanted to do more than just being an au pair there. I mean, I was already done with school. I studied in a really good college in Mexico. So I was like, okay, if I'm here, I have to take the best out of this experience. I didn't just come for being an au pair. So that's why I was joining these schools and I was, taking the best out of that experience. And my friends were doing the same. So I think it's very important to have these kind of support or like friends that have similar interests in common.
So you're saying basically you left one community, but you went to build another one or to maybe join another one, but not just a general au pair in United States, but those who maybe have more ambitions and maybe used this au pair as kind of like the temporary reason of how to get there, but that want to aspire for more.
Yeah. I think it is. I don't know. I think life put us together at the same time. We were almost the same age because 26 is a little bit older. It's actually the last time or the last year you can go to the US as au pair. So we were sort of like 24, 25, 26. So we were almost, I think all of us, we were already done with school, with university. So yeah, it was different, like the experience as a girl who comes as like 18, for example.
And is that a common thing, or is it something you've heard very often that people from Mexico, in order to kind of go to have a new adventure somewhere else, they choose the au pair path for that?
Yeah, I think it was very common, but it's a very specific target because it's like comparing a little bit the experience that you have as an au pair in the US with Europe, for example, is very different. Like you go through an agency, it's like you have a school, like they teach you. It's like a whole experience. It's not like, you are going to improve because you need money. It's not like that in Mexico in general, because it's so hard to get the visa, for example. So you have to prove that you're not going just to look for a better life. I don't know if you get what I mean.
So if I understand correctly, you go in Mexico, you find an agency, you go through like a course or something like that, and then only if you pass, I guess, then is when
not if you pass the course. It's like if for the Americans, you are a person that is going to have the cultural experience, because it's a cultural experience. Right. It's not like you are in need of like staying there longer. You know?
Wow. So you really have to be willing to go through a whole process in order to even start finding a family. I for me, like in Israel, I don't think anybody knows this this option. I heard about au pair only when I came to Germany. So for me, this whole thing is very new and unfamiliar territory. So it's good also for me to hear about this.
Actually, where I lived in Boston, there was a lot of Germans. It was like the whole community was German. And then when we came, the Latinas, then all the host moms around is like, okay, now we're going to go to get the Latinas. Because, they choose at the end. So we were like, suddenly we had, in the whole area, a bunch of Latinas. So it was very funny.
Interesting. So I think just for the sake of, if there are others like me who have never heard of what au pair is, could you explain a little bit about that?
Yeah, of course. The au pair is a cultural experience, mainly women, but are also guys that go and find a family abroad, in this case, US or any other countries in Europe, and they live with them in exchange of the cultural experience and taking care of the kids. So it's
is that like a nanny, basically?
It's like a nanny, but you're part of the family. They sell you this idea, at least in the US, which is very different what I've seen in Europe or in Germany.
Okay.
The tricky part. That's why, if you ask me, I prefer to go to the US because, we're well paid. Like people usually, I'm not saying that it's a paradise, but most of the families are, like, okay, the girl or the boy are coming to your home and then you take care of them and they're part of your family,
Wow. Okay, I didn't know there were such differences between the United States and Europe, because I've heard about that in Europe, but not really in the United States.
No, I know because of my community that there's horrible experiences in Germany, to be honest.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Expect them to clean and to do stuff that are not allowed. Yeah.
Aha. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so basically, you're saying for 4 years you were in Boston, you were an au pair, while learning more and maybe developing your skills more in regards to photography. Did you also have some jobs in that area, or you had to stay
Yeah,
with
it's a
the?
perfect. Yes, I was. I mean, well, like I cannot say because I wasn't allowed to work, but yes, of course, I was doing some photography gigs or like things, social media. I was studying already for social media because, I mean, I studied communications back in Mexico, in Puebla. But yeah, I graduated in 2007 when actually Facebook came out. So I didn't, so I studied that to complement my career. And so I was, like doing some social media from some businesses. And I also gave Spanish lessons like privately. I also work in a restaurant for like 6 months. So I moved from Boston to Plymouth, which is south. And yeah, so I was always doing stuff. I also cleaned houses. I cleaned one house, like it was Germans. They were Germans. Hello, family.
Really? Great. And that, well, it seems like you somehow paved the way unknowingly to go to Germany. If you're saying, hey, Boston is actually made of so many Germans, then it was kind of a destiny to find someone who will take you then to Germany. So you say you met Alex. Alex is German, I assume?
He's German.
He's German. And he came for a visit and you just met, or did he live there?
No. He just was traveling, just like me.
He was traveling. And
It was in New York where we met, yeah.
Okay. And so you met with him, you got off, and then did he take you immediately to Germany? You had a long-term relationship? How did it go?
I mean, it was, 2012, June, January 2013, we were, like chatting, blah, blah, blah. I mean, we were first friends, obviously. And then I was planning to go to Europe. So then I noticed we were, having something around October. So a few months after, and we're like, oh, well, we have some feelings, but we were not that clear. So then I came to Europe to do my trip. And then I came to Berlin, and then we saw each other again, and we're like, okay, yes, and then we decided to start our relationship. 4 months later, August, he decided to go and meet my parents. So he was very, he's super serious. Germans are serious when they really want someone. Boom. So he went to meet my parents in August, and then we decided, because I was yes, of course, because then in 2013, I decided to move back to Mexico, and I got a job in Mexico City in this company. I was doing the internship. So I had these, and then he was like, okay, no, come with me first, and the blah, blah, spend 3 months with me, what my passport allows me. So I came to Germany August to end of November, something like that, September and November. And then I told him, like, you know what, I just spent 4 years in Boston as an au pair doing a lot of stuff, and I studied. I don't want to come and do it again, like be an au pair or like study German, or like I was already 31. So he said, like, you know what, I mean, let's just get married. I think we are in the correct age. We were all enough. And then we had a really nice relationship. We have a really nice relationship. So I will never regret to have done that. And so that's why I.
Wow.
2014. So 2 years. 2 years after we met.
But I mean, it's 2 years after you met, but it was a year and a half after you kind of decided that you won't even date.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I was like, wow, very quickly. But, I think here's where we have things in common. I mean, I also married my husband. I mean, he married me mostly because we could then together live in Europe, because I have a Romanian citizenship. And so we knew we want to leave Germany. We want to leave Israel to Europe somewhere, and then we decided on Germany. And we knew that the easiest way would be to get married, and then he will have the family reunion visa. Yeah. And this is where we kind of tell people we loved each other, but the marriage was more for bureaucratical reasons rather than we felt like we had to get married, you know. So I think you understand me when we're saying, no, we really love each other, but the marriage was practical stuff.
It's just papers, you know. I always say that the marriage is like a business.
No, it's definitely a business.
Contract.
It's just a business that people feel like it's less risky than actual businesses, you know. But then
I don't want to sound like it's a business because no, it's like the contract, and then you know it's just papers and.
Business is not a bad thing.
No, it's not. For businesses, of course, it's not.
I mean, marriage started as kind of a business reason, I guess. So, never mind. Let's jump. Let's jump to the next stage. So you are then in Germany for the second time. So because you came to visit, or third already.
It was a third already. Third. I mean, first was when we became a couple. Second, I lived here 3 months. And then the third, it was when I was already married.
Right. And so you basically, if I understand correctly, you had a little bit of time to prepare, but it wasn't really a whole process that you could just, you know, digest, maybe learn German, maybe, I don't know. Did you learn German before coming?
Yes, I actually to apply for the visa for the I don't know it's like it's not a reunification. It's that you're going to get married visa. I don't know if there's still this one like the fiance. I don't know how to say. I mean, in Spanish, prometida, like a fiance, no? So I had to have a A1, and then these 3 months I was here, I studied as well. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I'm a person that I don't like to waste my time.
That's practical.
Practical, and I really want to learn. I really want to do things with my life. So, okay, if I spend 3 months here, of course, I'm going to join school. So I studied the 3 months I was here. I was studying German.
Right. And so you came here and you knew a little bit already about Berlin, I guess, and maybe if you met his friends. And did you meet his family at that time?
Family, very important. Never get married if you don't know the family.
I wonder if there's a story there.
My mom told me that all the time, because you don't get married just with one person. You get married with a whole family and also friends. So, of course, I told him, like, I'm not going to get married. I'm not until I know where you live, who's your family, like, who are you?
yeah, absolutely.
So that's why I decided to come 3 months. Of course, my family was like, oh, you're going without marrying a guy, you know, like Latino family, very conservative. I'm from the north. So it's like, oh, my dad, like, I can't believe you're going to live with someone. But now I don't regret it, you know, because I learned, I got to know a lot of things. So many stories of people that come, like they know where they live, the couple live, or like the partner, and boom, they get a lot of surprises.
Absolutely. I mean, you have to prepare yourself as exactly how you prepare for a business or for relocation, for everything else. You need to know where you're stepping into so that you're jumping above those obstacles as much as you can. And then you're saying you came to Germany, and now you have to basically establish again everything from not really from scratch, but you still have to go through a process of establishing your community, establishing maybe a place to work. What did you do then?
What didn't I do?
Perfect.
I have to say, for people that understand, I have ADHD, so that explains a lot of hyper-focused projects and stuff. So I started selling pictures on like my photography, my photographs on markets, I was doing a Mexican supper club. For those who don't know, the word is like you make dinners at your home and people come and pay for it. And then you get to meet strangers. So I was doing that at that time, and it was very nice, like charging €50 per person, and then I have 8 people, so it was kind of interesting. I was working in a wine bar. I was doing events. So, yeah.
Wow. I mean,
of course, photography. I mean, since I'm a freelancer since 2009, basically, with photography.
Yeah. So you are basically now starting to build your life up and also your community. And the one reason that I really wanted Liz to join us today was because of her very, very interesting community. So Liz, would you like to tell us about Latinas in Alemania?
Yes, Latinas in Alemania is the largest community of Spanish-speaking women in Germany. So actually this year we are turning 10 years because I made this happen in 2014 when I came. No, it was in November actually. So we're gonna be 10 years.
Wow.
Now we're preparing the anniversary. Nowadays, we started as a Facebook group, and then we started doing, like a lot of events, and it was a lot of success. On the group, very specific topics, and very, I put a lot of effort on having built a community so people started to feel very comfortable in it. And then I just noticed that people from other parts of Germany were joining. And so I decided, because at that time it was Latinas in Berlin, only in Berlin. So then people from other places start coming in, and I was like, okay. Then in 2022, I think it was just recently, I decided to change the name to Latinas in Alemania. And then, it has been a huge success. It's a lot of effort. It's a lot of work. To be honest, I'm like this again to have a burnout. I have to confess, of course, I had already one, and but it's a lot of comfort and a lot of love, that the one that you receive also hate, but it's really nice. So now we have actually 9 sub-communities around Germany. I have 25 new ambassadors. I'm sorry, not new, because I think we have like 2 or 3. That's why I'm like between 22 and 25 now. And it's a lot of work, of course. So we have to, do events all around Germany. We have this platform, which is our website, where we have the blog, we have directory, we have packages for entrepreneur women. We have different channels as well. We have a chat for mental health. So we have a group of professionals over there to support people. And not to support, it's not like a consultancy or something like that. It's just like they decide 1 week. One of them is doing like a takeover, and they talk about some, topics, and then they develop certain activities. We have a podcast as well. It's in Spanish. It's called, in Spanish, it's El Lado Oscuro de la Migración, or the dark side of migration. And we are very active. We're doing a lot of events and retreats as well. So yeah.
Wow. So that's first of all an invitation to all the Latinas in Alemania to join definitely this community, or those who are planning on coming to Germany. You already know that whenever you are here, you'll have a first community to join in head first, since it's already existing for so long and probably have established so much already and knows a lot of the intricacy of how it is to live here as a Latina. For me, the question would be if you actually see a difference between Latinas than other women who come from other countries in Germany, if there is a difference in how you experience Germany as a place to live, or maybe the culture differences is, I don't know, something else. Do you see any differences?
I guess, yes. Let's first be clear with Latin America, it's huge. And
of course.
Some people think that people from Mexico are the same than people from Chile or Argentina. It's not. We're very different between each other. but we do have very like many things in common. Or like culture, probably, of course, Latinas are, or Latinos in general, Latinos are well known for being, like more passionate, more, party, full, and, family oriented.
Warm.
So, yeah, warm. And it is true. I mean, not all the countries, but mostly close to the sun. Or close to the Ecuador. But yeah, so when we come here, I mean, most of the people, I think, the cultural shock is because, Germany, there's so many rules of bureaucracy. The people are colder, I guess. The communication, there's more. It's called direct communication. Like people say, boom, right? How they want to say it. And in Latin America, most of the countries are more like, oh, please, can you help me? I don't want, like this kind of, and in Germany, like, I want this, So, of course, many Latinos are like, oh my gosh, it's normal. Yes, I think that's the biggest problem. It happened to me, even though I'm from the north of Mexico and I'm a very direct person. But of course, the food, we miss our families. But on the other hand, the people that really enjoy living here and that they get to, get used to it, they love it. They love it. I mean, there's a like Latinos, you hate it or you love it. There's not, it's, I mean, but you love it or you hate it.
And you're mostly doing all of the events and communication in Spanish, correct?
Yes. Well, yeah, it is in Spanish, yeah.
But do you try to push people into learning German, or is it just like, hey, you do you, but our community is in Spanish?
To be honest, I don't want to push anyone, because I think the community's place is a safe space where women can find themselves, in a place, on an environment where they don't feel that they have to. I mean, I think it's enough outside people pushing, like, you have to learn German, or like some of their partners, or like in work. So this is, for me, I think it's like a small piece of our countries in Germany. So I don't, of course, I have collaboration with some schools and stuff, but it's like, we might do events with, with tandem or something like that. But to be honest, my goal is just to hug these women.
Yeah, that's so important. Especially, I find that people who come from warm countries have definitely more difficulties because you don't understand sometimes, why is it being said that way? Why is it being done that way? And you need to have a little bit of that security feeling again from, something I'm familiar with again. I have the same experience of people just being like, I want this and this. And I'm like, are you mad at me? Or like, did I do something to you? It's like, where is the small talk? Where's the, hi, how's it going? Hey, good morning. Kind of like nice gestures. And sometimes they're like, boom, 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 boom. And you're like,
which is not bad,
No, but you have to learn that. You have to accept it. Yeah,
exactly. That's what we have to learn. Why? Like why Germany, like why Germany? Why Germany is like that?
Why Germans are Germans?
Like that, which is not bad. When you go back to history, you start to understand why. I mean, of course, Latin America, yes, and also why Latins are like we are as well. I mean, I don't want to jump into history, but I mean, the people who know what I'm talking about. Yeah, once you understand, that's why it's very important to get to know, to learn.
Right.
To study, to see, okay, I'm going to Germany. Okay, why Germans are like this? This is a story. Like why people are correcting me all the time. Have you seen the country? Like, no, yeah, you love. Have you seen the country? They build the country from nothing. And this was because they all together have to do it together. So people were like, hey, you have to do this right. Hey, you have to do this this way. So everybody can walk together. People don't know this. And if you get to know that, it's like, oh, so that's why like older women in the U-Bahn or like the train, I don't know, they're correcting if you're doing something. If you're crossing the street in red, they're correcting you. Yeah, that's the reason, because they learn to do that way so they can rule the country.
Right. Yeah.
Intense.
No, I understand, because you sometimes are like, why is it painful for you that I do this tiny thing that nobody cares about? But for them, it's like a whole thing that they make out of it. And yeah, and sometimes you understand, maybe, okay, this is how they grew up, or this is there is a reason behind it, but you're like, but come on, listen up a little bit. But I think this is also kind of what we are doing as expats coming in here, shaking up stuff a little bit, because otherwise they will just stay in the 1950s forever. And it seems like they're trying sometimes to to go back.
But at the same time, it doesn't mean that when we come, we're doing something better as well. I mean, it's those two parts. It's two parts. Like,
no, we're showing something different. It's not to say we are correct. We're saying we might make something more modern together, with the combination of both. Yes, you do need to obey the law. I think a lot of countries don't do that. But yes, you sometimes need to loosen up to maybe experience something new. That's also, like, you need to have this balance. And I find if we are working together towards that, then there will be a balance.
It's a very difficult topic, because, I mean, they also have to choose not to do it anytime, as we have the decision if we want to learn German or not, and things, and, it's very complicated topic.
Of course.
Podcast topic.
Okay. All right. So what I want to know is, I also we had another woman who created a community in Berlin, Women of Berlin, and I asked her the same question, because I was also I had a female entrepreneurs community in Leipzig, and for me the question that came very often was from men of, why is it not a mixed group? Did you have that question as well coming your way?
No.
No?
No.
The men don't want to do anything with you.
I think by nature, women are, we by nature, we need to, it's sort of like the motherhood thing, kind of like make people together as mom, like, not as moms physically, like having children, but this is the nature of us to make people together, to connect with people, like as we do it when we have children. Men don't have that much. And I was actually, I was recording a podcast like 2 weeks ago, and there were men, and they were asking me the same question, like, why do you think men don't get together that much? I think yes, but it's mostly when, I don't know, like a Verein, or like a NGO association, which is called Verein in German, like bicycle, or like mentally
sports
things.
activity or something.
And I was, because I think this is stereotype of like, it's weird that guys are gonna, hey, do you want to go with me for a coffee? It's kind of like weird for them. It's that I think they're more like simple in those areas.
So you're saying, basically, if I understand correctly, also in Latin America, they would be very differently communicating with each other than women.
Of course. I mean, I've been into a lot of like women groups or communities in Facebook, and I actually told my brother, you should do a community. And then he started like, it's not working. Like, guys are like, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
What do you expect from me?
But I mean,
of course.
Do you know if the Latinos in Alemania have other issues that and that being addressed somehow, or is it just they're putting it all in the back closet?
I mean, it depends. What I can say is, and I will compare a little bit with the US. The Latinos that come to Germany, because it's not easy to come to Germany as it is to go to the US. So there's a big difference. Like, most of the Latino people who come here is because they have a good job, like in tech or science, or they're doctors or nurses. There's a few ones that are from Argentina or like Chile that they have a special working holiday visa, and they come here, but they are also professionals, but they're just looking like as I was looking in the US, to have an experience, a cultural experience. But it's interesting because I've seen a lot of like high qualifications in their careers. So it's very interesting. It's very interesting to see it. And yeah, basically, yeah, I mean, I think everybody finds it hard to adjust and to, I guess the bureaucracy is one of the worst things ever. I'm so happy I have my husband, to be honest.
For sure.
Bureaucracy. He loves doing papers and stuff. So it's, I know.
No, it's perfect thing to have, but you're like, how come? Yeah, I understand completely. So I have also another question for you. For me, do you consider yourself German, Mexican, both, neither?
No, I consider. I mean, I'm so proud of being Mexican. Like I've been here 10 years and I haven't done my passport yet because it was never in my dream, to be honest. I mean, I'm saying it respectfully. I probably will do it because in some point I want to go back to Mexico, like even move to Spain, for example. I will do it, but it's not something that I'm like, oh, I'm looking for, and I don't want to attack myself either, but if you ask me, I'm so proud of being Mexican. I will always be proud. Yeah.
Right. So you're saying you're not sure even Germany will be the last destination you're going to live in.
I never expected to be.
Well, you never expected to live there in the first place.
Every day I remind my husband, can we go back to Mexico?
But you do visit, I guess, right?
I'm happy. Like I have no bad experiences. I've been, I'm very grateful and everything. I'm just kidding.
Sometimes you have this, I missed that part, I guess, for sure. All right. So Liz, we unfortunately got to the end of our episode. And this is where I ask you if you have a tip for newcomers in Germany.
Of course, research, everything, all the things you can. Now you have a lot of things. Before it was nothing. Now you have associations, you have social media, you have influencers that are talking about Germany, but do your own judgment. Like, I mean, be very open. Like, don't think everything you see outside because everybody is telling their own experience. And this is very different because everybody are different. And your experience is going to be different than my experience and than many people. So be very open, do your research, do not come with a lot of expectations. I mean, it's not that I'm saying like be a bitter person, but it's not like don't expect that you're gonna have a nice apartment and a Mercedes-Benz outside waiting for you. Okay, like come, and it's very the experience, like the whole process is very hard. It can be not, but just research, do your research, and I think that will be my best. Or if you can come, as I did, that would be a good tip. If you come and see how the life is before you decide, to leave everything and then come here and like, oh, I don't like it.
That's part of the research, right? You not only experience from the digital world, but also from the actual real world.
If you can, of course, it's very expensive, to come and pay for a flight and live here at least 1 month. I mean, I know not many people have the possibility, but if you can and you have it, do it.
Absolutely. And you can definitely use this podcast as part of your research because you would hear many different aspects, and even people who come from the same countries share much, much different experiences. Because it doesn't mean that if you come from one country and you hear other stories that it will be exactly the same. Absolutely not.
Can I add something as well on the tip? Mental health. Mental health. Take care of your mental health. You need someone to help you, like a psychologist, a coach, whatever. Find it, because the migration process will poop out a lot of your issues, everything, all your insecurities, all of whatever, all the shit that we have inside, all our problems in childhood, all the childhood traumas, they will pop out. Okay, so that's another tip.
So come more stable mentally. Don't expect actually that the relocation process will solve your problems, but rather it will emphasize a lot of things that you even didn't know that were there. I've seen that happening, not firsthand, but people I know. But I think also the research you would do would be very important for that particular part, so that you not only know technical facts, but also that emotional roller coaster that you might expect, which for me really helped to know that people take 3 years around to even be more comfortable speaking German, or, or 5. And also that there is, in the first month or 2, you will have those questions of, what am I doing here? Why did I choose this place? Maybe I should go back. All those questions will pop up, and it's normal. And if you pass that, you might be on a good way to stay. So I think it's a super important tip. And I would add a tiny bit to it, that if you cannot come to see the place yourself, then maybe the next best thing is to just go into those Facebook groups and find people who've done that, and will be happy to share with you how did they experience that, and maybe their tips and what did they do to make life easier when they did the relocation process. That is a very useful way to accumulate knowledge as if you are there. Liz, I want to thank you so much for sharing your story. I want to thank you also for creating the safe space for Latinas in Alemania, because I feel like the more communities like this we have, the better connected we stay and the stronger we are. And I know that for sure your community appreciates it. And although I cannot be part of it, I am happy it exists, and that you're still thriving. Don't go in burnout. Keep yourself a bit, relaxed about it, and take the right vacation times.
But next week, so
yes, good.
Continue.
Looking forward for that for you. But thanks a lot for joining and sharing everything.
Thank you then for doing this, and for everything, for the invitation and for doing this podcast, because I think this is a nice way, of course, to make people decide why Germany.
Absolutely. And I see all of you in the next episode. Thank you so much.
Ciao.
We hope you enjoyed listening to this episode of Why Germany. If you want to learn more about relocation, make sure to visit overtheoffec.com, your relocation experts.